On Team Canada Rewind, we travel back in time 40 years to the heart of the Cold War, when fear and loathing separated communism and democracy, East and West, them and us. For the first time, the best hockey players from Canada faced off against the best from the USSR. A series of 8 games, 4 in Canada and 4 in the USSR. Every game meaning more than the one before. After 7 games, the series was tied, setting up the most memorable moment in Canadian sports history. It's the 1972 Summit Series, Game 8, revisited. Canada versus the Soviet Union, next on TSN. How are you, Canada? James Duffy with you. This is usually our Wednesday night hockey NHL on TSN slot. Usually. Look, we're all hungry for hockey. So to fill the void, every Wednesday, we're going to bring you Team Canada Rewind, some of the best international games ever. And we begin with Game 8 of the 1972 Summit Series. Not only the most significant sporting moment in our nation's history, but one of the most important cultural moments. Now, before we take you to the broadcast of the game, let's take you back to that September to remember and remind us all how we got to Game 8 40 years ago in Moscow. Game 1 in Montreal looked to fulfill expectations of a series rout when Canada took an early 2-0 lead. But the Soviets scored 4 straight goals, including 2 by Valery Harlamov, that vaulted him to instant superstar status, and the heavy underdogs shocked the nation. Canada responded 2 days later with a 4-1 win in Toronto, as Peter Malhovlich scored a memorable shorthander. Game 3 in Winnipeg represented Canada's chance to gain some momentum in the series, but it squandered a 2-goal lead and settled for a tie. Things went from bad to worse in Game 4 as the Soviets won 5-3 and the Vancouver crowd booed Team Canada on and off the ice.
The crowd didn't seem to like the fact that Malhovlich was sitting on country ice there.
Phil Esposito spoke from the heart after the game.
We tried. We did our best, and for the people that boo us, geez, all of us guys were really disheartened and were disillusioned. Every one of us guys, 35 guys that came out and played for Team Canada, we did it because we love our country, and not for any other reason, no other reason.
The series resumed 2 weeks later in Moscow, with what appeared to be the final nail in Team Canada's coffin, as the Soviets won 5-4 to take a 3-1-1 series lead. Game 6 was the most turbulent of the series, with officiating in the crosshairs. But there was no debating a call on Bobby Clarke, who infamously slashed Harlamov on the ankle. Still, Canada won 3-2, and the makings of a historic hat-trick were set when Paul Henderson scored what would be the winning goal. As the minutes ticked down in Game 7 with the score tied at 3, Canada faced a series defeat. Anything less than victory meant a Soviet triumph, and Henderson knew it when he got on the ice late in the game. What followed was pure magic. Henderson called it the best goal of his career, and it tied the series. Each team had 3 wins, 3 losses, and 1 tie. It all came down to Game 8.